We're all disappointed after what happened against Aston Villa. Trust me, I've been on more than enough pieces of content to talk about this game, and it hasn't got any easier. It hasn't been a therapeutic session of, well, you talk it out and you feel better. No. In fact, disappointment isn't really the word. It's more hurt. I feel really hurt. I wasn't expecting that. It feels like a betrayal. Of course, the players didn't mean to. But perspective is needed. Perspective is needed in times like this where the team's not doing well and the fan base is up in arms. And there's people arguing, debating. Some are saying, you don't have the minerals for the title race. Others are saying, it's done. You can't slip up. You can't afford these kind of results. And you get this kind of back and forth. And the reality is, I think perspective is needed on both sides. I think the way Arsenal fans are feeling about this game, a real hurt and a real disappointment, is fair. But I also think this feeling that the players deserve our support and our backing as we go into what is such a crucial period of the season, I think that's fair too. So let's explore both. Let's first start off by just looking back at Arsenal's results in the Premier League alone in 2024. And you can see 31 points picked up out of 36. It's been a tremendous run. I see in there, out of 12 games, I see 11 very good results. 10 wins and a 0-0 draw at the Etihad. I see 11 very good results and one bad day. But that one day might have just set us back for the title. That one bad day might have just been that edge, that defining moment which City leapfrog and then keep that spot. But when you look at those results, beating Liverpool, drawing at the Etihad, the 6-0s, the 5-0s, the 4 against Newcastle, you do stop and go, my word, if this team put in a phenomenal effort. And that first half against Villa could have been more of the same. It could easily be right now 11 wins in 12 and a draw at the Etihad. And so maybe in some of those games the fine margins went our way, and in others they did. Look at Liverpool, right? We won 3-1. We utterly deserved that. But ultimately it was a mistake between Van Dijk and Alisson that gives us the opportunity to go 2-1 up, and the Trossard, deflected effort makes it 3. And the 3-1 was a reflection of our performance, but maybe the goals were somewhat fortuitous. Now against Villa at half time, the 0-0 wasn't reflective of our performance, but it didn't break for us. And I think perspective is needed, that sometimes in football things happen. But where it hurts for Arsenal fans is that we've put together this run and it didn't give us any clearance. It didn't give us any room for, a slip up, a defeat, a bad day. Because really, after a run like that, you would think, just logically, okay, well, that's fine. We've let City back in it, but we can still, we still got control of this. But City are an animal. Liverpool, who have not been really themselves for a little while, are still level on points with us, and we've just been on this unbelievable run. In fact, let me show you City's results in 2024 for some context. 33 points out of 39. They've played one more game. So they've actually dropped more points in 2024, albeit they've played a game more. And look, some tighter games in there, right? They'll be disappointed with a 1-1 draw at Chelsea. They'll be disappointed they didn't beat Arsenal at home, albeit a good side. They conceded 2 goals to Palace. Not many clean sheets in there at all. Took a very late goal to beat Newcastle. Took just the 1 goal to beat Brentford at home. So their results are by no means, it's a fantastic run. They're unbeaten, but it's not some staggering run of results. Nor does it suggest that City are totally impenetrable. But 33 out of 39 points. And they still drop more, and yet we find ourselves in this position. So perspective is needed in that City are they're an animal. They're an animal in that we have been brilliant. We've been utterly brilliant for basically all of 2024 in the league. City have been pretty good, very good, but not their scintillating best. We have one bad day and we're behind them in the table. They have difference makers. They have Gvardiol, who twice in a week can slap one in the top corner. They've got De Bruyne and Haaland, difference makers, Bernardo Silva. And you look around Arsenal's team and you go, man, we're going punch for punch and we're fighting with these guys going into the last 6 games of the season, and we don't have that match winner, that difference maker. So you think, perspective, if we can get that, and if we can get that experience, if Arteta can continue to grow. But like I said, perspective works both ways. Because while I can acknowledge that our run is brilliant, and so is City's, and unfortunately that's just what we're up against, and it's difficult, I include Liverpool in that too. I then go to this quote from Mikel Arteta. He says, if one result is going to block us, that then we are not strong enough. If you want to win titles, when you have this moment, you have to stand up. In any other league in the world, if you won the number of games in a row that we did, you would be 6 or 8 points clear. That is not the case here. That is the challenge. It's probably not wrong. It's hard to kind of really... I'm a casual when it comes to other leagues. So, I don't... that sounds right, what he's saying. And I totally agree with what he's saying about, what if we're going to have one bad day and that's going to totally derail us? We're not strong enough. He's right. If we're going to take one bad day amongst what has been a phenomenal 2024 and go, well, that's that. That's done. We're not going to win the league. It's over. And we're going to play like essentially it's done. Then he's right. We're not mentally strong enough to get over the line. But this is where I keep going to that word perspective. Because the fans' disappointment and their fear as to what that result could do for what remains in the Champions League and the Premier League isn't based on nothing. And then I'll show you these results to prove that point. Here are our last 10 results in the Premier League 21-22 season, when we were going head-to-head with Tottenham for that top 4 spot, that place in the Champions League that, to be fair, at the beginning of the season, people didn't think we would be good enough for. 15 points out of 30, 3 defeats in a row, followed by 2 appalling defeats in our final 3. In control of the situation, let it slip. Last 10 Premier League results of last season, 22-23 season, this time in a title race against Man City. Again, we matched it 15 points out of 30, with 3 draws in a row. Twice we had the lead, once was against a team that got relegated, were the worst in the league that season. Ended up losing by 3 goals to Brighton at home, and lost to a side that nearly got relegated, Nottingham Forest. 15 out of 30. And you look at that, what's that, 4 wins in our last 10? Something like that. When I keep saying this word perspective, Arsenal fans who are being told, well, you don't have the minerals for it, you don't have the bottle, what you think, so one result and you're going to give up. The fear isn't based on nothing. We're not just sitting here going, well, that's it, we've fallen behind City, they're probably going to go on and win it for no reason. It's not because we're just throwing our toys out the pram because one day didn't go our way. It's because of the standards that City have set, but it's also because Arsenal have shown in the last 2 seasons under Mikel Arteta, when there's been an expectation we could do something that other people didn't expect us to do, and we get ourselves in a position of control to do it, we've shown an ability to move so far away from the results and consistency that has got us to that point in the first place. So the fear isn't completely unfounded. It's not just Arsenal fans being babies and not just and not having the minerals for the fight. There's a reason we fear this team won't be able to do it. But I'll say this, the team's form has been unbelievable. And when it comes to looking at perspective, I'd always rather look at the more positive stuff. I'd rather go, you know what, we had one bad game against a team in the top 4 where we probably could have been 3-0 up at half-time anyway, and it didn't go our way that day. And something went wrong in the second half, but maybe they can fix it. And Arsenal are going to have to channel that going into the Bayern Munich game, because that is massive, We, after all this, have the opportunity to end this current week in the semi-final of the Champions League and back top of the Premier League. Now, City will have a game in hand, but then we play again before they play in the Premier League. So we got the opportunity to heap up the pressure on them and go, we're putting points on the board. And we've got the opportunity to book ourselves in the semi-final of a competition that no one gave us a prayer for. And that's actually straight not true. Some people thought we might do something in the Champions League this season, but to do something in a competition we never won, and actually getting to the end of this week going, look how quickly things have changed, and now there's hope again. And there's still hope. Even now there's still hope. But perspective is that it's not all lost. Perspective is that this team's the face this team has shown us for most of this season has been incredibly positive. Now we need to look back at what worked so well, channel that in the right way, use the disappointment of what's happened in a good way, and remember that this team got themselves in this position doing something right, and it wasn't that long ago we all thought, yeah, this really could be our season, this really could be our year. So, like I said, perspective works both ways. I think we've got to understand why fans are feeling a certain way. But we've also got to remember that we're up against a juggernaut. It takes something incredibly special to get the Premier League title over the line this season. And in the last 5-6 seasons, it's going to have taken something really special to beat Pep Guardiola and Man City. And we might have it. But we certainly won't have it if we just roll over after one bad day. So we need to bounce back, and Bayern Munich is the perfect opportunity to do it. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.